The topic I want to talk about today is a little bit different to normal. You will read on social media, and some of us will be brave enough to post sometimes that things on social media look also fabulous. Everybody's life is amazing and beautiful, and cooking great meals and gardening beautifully, and everything's bright and shiny. And it's really a false show, right? Because nobody's life is up all the time. Nobody's life is happy all of the time. And one of the biggest comments that I've got on my Adventures with Jesus Today posts, where I post the conversation Jesus and I have, is that they are just real, that they're not glossy, that they're not, oh, everything is great, right? But that they're just real, raw emotions and things happening every day. The beauty of it all, though, is that every single one of them show us how Jesus wants to walk through things with us. He was human. He lived on the earth during his time. And even though things might have been different then, they are still similar in things that we experience. Hold on a second. I've just remembered that I have to share this to other places. So I won't be a second. This is real right here, right? Because I love the fact that we get to share this reel everywhere we go. So let me just see how this works. I'm going to do that. And there it is. I think it's worked. So I have been preparing for this. It's at 6 o'clock. I said I'd go live each day at 6 o'clock, and it's Sunday. It's a day where I've rested a bit, but I've also just been researching what business looks like and how I can serve all of you best. So I'm a bit tired. I'm not all happy and chirpy and ready to go live, but I'm doing what I said I would do, right? And so I was just watching something, and I suddenly realized that I'm in such a bad mood, right? And I sat here and I thought, wow, I'm really reacting funny. And there is a beautiful process that I go through with anyone that comes to me for the spiritual mentoring sessions, because I typically deal with people when we're stuck, right? And when you're stuck, things don't look all rosy and happy. Things are hard, and you're frustrated, and you're mad, and you don't understand, and you're like, don't know if you can trust God. And that's typically the scenarios of the people that come to me, and how we get to look at the real life situations, things that Jesus went through, things that we are going through, that are just real life things that we go through. And that's what I love about my own adventures with Jesus and yours, about hearing about your adventures, because they're real. They're not polished, they're not fake. It's not only the good stuff. This is real life that Jesus walked through, and he knows that we walk through. And in Hebrews 4, I'm going to read you two verses, Hebrews 4, 15 and 16, and this is the NIV. He says, "For we do not have a high priest who is unable to empathize with our weaknesses, but we have one who has been tempted in every way, just as we are, yet he did not sin." Verse 16, "Let us then approach God's throne of grace with confidence, so that we may receive mercy and grace to help us in our time of need." And this is what I love about the gospel. This is not reward because we try hard. There's so much of my Christian life, and I know from speaking to so many hundreds of you that there's these aspects of life that look like, oh, well, if I just prayed more, if I just fasted and drank only water for 7 days, if I woke up earlier in the morning, if I read more of my Bible, if I went through the Bible in 365 days and I didn't miss a day, then everything would be better. That's the one hand, right? And then on the other hand, there's the, when I try to press into God, things just really seem to go haywire. Things seem to go wrong. These are all the realities of living the Christian life. And I reckon that so many times in my own walk, I've been tempted to just walk away from being a Christian. And I've seen so many others do the same, because it's just too hard to live that way. It's just too difficult to try and navigate the normal ups and downs of everyday life, the days when we wake up and we feel great and we can conquer the world, and days when we wake up and we can't even face the world and we'd rather just hide back, pull the covers back over our head and hide, right? These are the realities of life. And that is what I love about being a Christian, is that is normal life. And if you if you walk them through with Jesus, if you go on adventures with Jesus every day, whether the day feels and looks good, whether it feels and looks bad, whether you're in a good mood and you can get through it, or you just need all the help you can get, that's the adventure Jesus wants to go on with you. And I love the fact that he's real, that he understands. He cried when he was here. He got mad when he was here. He went to parties and was filled with joy. He wept with people. He was hurt. He was betrayed. He was frustrated. He experienced all of the emotions that we experience here. Right? The difference is that because he's Jesus, he didn't fall into the temptation of that sin to get and stay angry. And that's what he wants to help us with, because he's the only one that's ever been able to get that right. He's the only one that's been able to experience these emotions, but not let them get the better of him, right? And not let them turn him into agreeing with what the enemy says. And so as I have journeyed with the Lord over the years and counseled so many people through this, I am in awe of the fact that he is not afraid of the days when we don't feel good, like I feel now. He is not afraid of the emotions that we will feel. He's not afraid of us being mad at him. I don't know how many times I've sat and I've just told him real, God, I don't understand this. I don't know why this happened. I don't know what you're doing. And he's not afraid of us doing that. He's not going to smite us with the thunder and lightning if we talk to him that way. He's compassionate. Jesus understands what life was like. It says so in Hebrews 4:15 that he lived through the same things we're living through, and he gets it. But then there's the promise of verse 16, which says, you know what? Because he knows what you're going to, come boldly to him, come to Jesus, and we can run away instead of coming towards him. And it's what we typically and often do because of shame or guilt or condemnation. That's what drives us away from it. I mean, going, no, come to me. I have experienced what you're going through, and I want to show you how to not let that thing get the best of you, pull you down, draw you into temptation. I want to show you. I want to help you to do it. That's why he says, come boldly to the throne of grace so that you can get mercy. And mercy means I know what you're going through, and I want to show you compassion. I want to help you with it. I want to lead you through it. I want to, my heart knows what's going on. I'm not going to punish you. Perfect love casts out fear, right? He doesn't want to punish us. He wants to help us. It's part of the Lord's prayer. Pray, help us not to fall into temptation, right? He knows we're going to be tempted. He knows that this is what the enemy comes to do. But he's saying, I want to help you not fall into that temptation and not stay there. So as I sat preparing for this, I was sitting here going, Lord, I don't know what to say today. I don't know what people need. And he reminded me of just how many stories I hear, how many things I hear from you guys saying, Lisa, it's so refreshing to hear real stories that are not polished, that you don't always feel good, that everything's not always hunky-dory, but that Jesus is with us through it all. Because the last part of verse 16 says, and come and get grace. So mercy is God's compassion and his understanding of what we're going through, and his grace is the power to be able to get through it. And that doesn't mean that suddenly everything's like, oh, and everything's great, but it does mean that you know who is walking through the circumstances with you. And that is the most amazing thing, that we know who is walking through the situations with us. So I sat with the Lord today, and I was just getting triggered left, right, and center. I wasn't in a good mood. I was choppy. I was angry. I was, it wasn't nice to France, and so didn't want to come to this broadcast at 6 o'clock. But I just sat with the Lord and I said, Lord, what is going on? I was fine just now. Why do I feel this way? And that's the first point that I want to bring across to you guys. And the first point that the Holy Spirit has always helped me with, and that I love to help people with in sessions, is that first thing is notice your reactions and triggers. When you have been acting a certain way for hours, and then suddenly you find yourself and you're acting out of character, or you're acting mad, or you're frustrated about something, or stop. Let that trigger. I call them Holy Spirit nudges. And I say, Holy Spirit, nudge me. Tell me when I'm acting out of character. Tell me when something's wrong. And he just makes you aware and go, oh, I didn't feel this way an hour ago. What is going on? Why am I feeling this way now? So the first thing is to let Holy Spirit notice the triggers of what's happening, let you know of the triggers that's happening. And then the second thing is, instead of running away, which we so typically do because we think that God's going to be angry with us, or he's going to judge us, or he's going to punish us for not being perfect or not doing the right thing. That's not his nature. It's not the way he does things. That instead of running away from him, run towards him. That's what verse 16 says in Hebrews 4, is come to the throne of grace so that I can give you mercy and I can give you the power to be able to deal with what's going on. So I just stopped and I sat here and I took the time. I said, Lord, what do I do? And he said, you need to unwind, just play a puzzle, just do something different, right? So I did that for a little bit. And then I said, Lord, but I still don't feel good. What happened? And he showed me that actually it was something that I had just watched in a program where somebody was living life in a way that looked so attractive. And I got frustrated that they were living by the sea. And I got frustrated that I'm not living by the sea because I so love to see that view. And I realized, oh, okay, that's where the shift happened. So this is the mercy of God, right? This is where he shows us and he helps us to be okay. He didn't condemn me. He didn't tell me I was bad for not appreciating what I have. He didn't shout at me. He actually just validated the fact that there is a place in my heart that wants to look at the beautiful view of the sea. So instead of condemning me, he actually acknowledged and said, yes, Lisa, that is a valid desire of your heart. And I understand why you got triggered by that and upset that you aren't living there, right? And then the third thing that he does, so we notice the triggers, and then instead of running away from him, we run towards him and let us help us with it. And then he shows us the route. So he showed me that the frustration I was feeling, the oh, what do I do now? And I don't want to do this, was coming from this root of, okay, you need to be grateful for what you have, but you can still desire what's in your heart. You can still look forward and still have faith for what's in your heart. And then what he does, the most beautiful thing is, because you realize that you're doing this with him, I just felt a whole lot of peace, and the frustration left and the peace came. Like, it's okay. I know that I'm walking with you. And this is the grace, right? This is the power from heaven that he gives us to be able to not stay frustrated, not stay in that bad place, not stay in that unhappy place, but just to really be real and process things with him. So I was able to sit a little bit and go, wow, Lord, you know that that's a desire of my heart. And at the moment, I'm just sad that I don't have it. I'm sad that I don't get to look at the sea. And he said, I hear you. And I know that. And I know that that's a desire of your heart. So just trust me that things are happening, that I'm putting things in place. And you'll be able to see the sea again like that, like you've just seen on the program. And this is the grace that comes that says, God is on your side. He knows, he understands, and he's not going to give you the answer straight away, but what he will give you is the promise that he's with you on the journey, because that's where character is built, right? That's where we see the goodness of God, is on the journey, where we see how he takes Romans 8:28 and turns all things together for our good because we love him and we're called according to his purpose. He has this big plan. And so I think one of the most beautiful things I've learned and that I help people to get through is that realizing that when things don't turn out the way we want to, it's often because our definition of success is way different to God's. That he knows the bigger picture, that he has us in his hands, that he loves us, that he's good, and that he has a journey in mind for us. And all that he's asking is not that our definition of success is that something turns out the way we thought, but really that success is that we get to walk through everything with him. That we don't have to do life by ourselves. We don't have to try and navigate things in our own understanding and try and deal with emotions ourselves and all of that kind of thing. We get to do this with Jesus because he's been here. And he relied on the Holy Spirit. He relied on God to help him get through it. And we can do the same. The invitation is exactly the same for us too. So that's what I want to encourage you with today, is to just do real life with God your Father, with Jesus your Savior, with the Holy Spirit your best friend, and just do real life with him. And this is what I love to walk people through. If I can help you with this, just seeing things from heaven's perspective, knowing that even if the circumstance doesn't look so great or you don't feel so great, we have a God who loves us, who loves to walk through things with us. And I get the privilege of walking with you and doing the same thing. Whether it's courses, whether it's one-on-one sessions, whether group sessions, we're going to be doing so many things planned that you've asked for, of ways to actually live real life, not the glossy life, not the super Christian life, or the you're bad if you ever feel bad. It's nonsense. It's absolute nonsense. Jesus knows how we felt. He walked through it, and he wants to walk through it with each one of us each day. All he's asking is that we come instead of run. I've never thought of it that way before. Thank you. All he wants is that we come instead of run. So that is the invitation. Come across and visit us at awjtoday.com, because this is my delight, to walk through everyday life with you, with each other, to know that Jesus is with us. He really is the superhero. He is the one that loves us beyond anything and loves us through anything, and takes us out the other side. So come across and visit us, and remember that Jesus is inviting you on an adventure today. He loves to do life with you, good, bad, ugly. He loves to do life with you. Nothing you do scares him off, and he loves to love you back to life. Blessings to you. I'll see you tomorrow at 6 on Monday when we're launching our spiritual mentoring services, and would love to have you walk with us. Blessings to you. See you tomorrow.